All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bearded Maniacs, the payment processing trio. I've got Mitch Davey, I've got JP Davis, and we're here to talk to you guys more about merchant processing, credit card processing, what makes your business go around. And we actually have an exciting show today. We have a show where we're actually going to talk about substantive things that merchants and payment processors alike really enjoy discussing because it actually creates laws and all kinds of nonsense all the way up to the Senate, the Durham bill, and all that good stuff. We're talking about pricing, traditional pricing, dual pricing, surcharging, and all this good stuff. Again, my name is Brian Johnson. I come to you guys from Colorado.
My name is JP Davis, Cruisin' Ginger. Um, been in the payment processing space now for about 2 decades and have a beautiful wife. We didn't get to talk about our wife, my wife last week.
Oh,
Married
you
to
did
a
too this week.
beautiful woman, Salty Locks, SALTYLOCS. Pretty awesome lady. Got 3 great kids. Live a pretty good life. Have a very close-knit family, close-knit friends. Just doing their thing, trying to make it one day better at a time. Mitch, over to Mitch.
Mitch Davey, National Sales Director for JadaPay. Been in the industry for about 15 years. Proud JadaPay team member for about the last 6-7 years. Love what I do. Love growing, learning every day, every week. Just supporting our team, our company, and just evolving in the up and coming times. It's what I do. It's what we do.
And thanks for coming on. And I'm looking forward to talking today, obviously, about our pricing things, but I would be remiss if we didn't actually talk about football now that it's happening. Yeah. And the Detroit Lions, where did that come from?
I didn't watch the game. What happened?
Detroit destroyed Chicago. Destroyed. Jared Goff put up 5 touchdowns.
What was the score?
It was like 52 to 27 or something like that. It was
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna look
ridiculous
up
score.
the score now because my wife was glued to the Giants game, so I couldn't stream. I could do nothing. She was yeah. I know, Brian. I know. So she's big Giants fan,
I didn't
and
want to bring it up first, but I'll go ahead and bring it up. That was a tough game. Russell
it
Wilson gave it
was
away, but Dallas won, and that's all that matters.
they did that. That was a
Who
nail
did
biter
Dallas beat?
for sure.
New York Giants, your boys' team.
Yeah, the Lions was
Was
52
it
to
close?
21.
It was very
50,
close. It went into overtime.
yeah, it took the Cowboys what three OT possessions to get that field goal. That
Yep.
nobody could score. It was man, it was a nail biter for sure.
It was almost 80 points
Notre Dame dropped its second game after letting Texas A&M come all the way back.
all the way back.
Jesus,
Yeah.
all the way back.
And
Oklahoma
college football is looking good this year too.
Oklahoma destroyed who they were playing. I don't remember who they were playing because it was such a beat down.
Yeah, definitely some good games this weekend.
Notre Dame's had a rough one.
Well, the Chiefs lost twice, so we're good.
Yeah,
They
that's crazy.
lost in Brazil to my buddy's team. He's one of the assistant coaches over there. Beep Gold, the brother of, you've probably heard of him, Robbie Gold. Chargers are crushing it. They're looking good.
Yep, I think they said a stat. The Chiefs haven't started 0-2 in about 8 or 9 years. It's been a minute.
But you know what? You know what's good about starting 0-2? You got nothing but going up. And 2, you don't have to worry about, oh, we're gonna go undefeated this season. All that stuff's out the door. It's just like, I mean, Kelsey and Mahomes dope though, man. Kelsey and Mahomes are dope.
Yeah, they're solid. They're solid.
Mahomes or Kelsey just got engaged, so he just has to take a while to embrace that.
This is his year. He's got to injure other players just so he can stay on the field.
Dude, he's about to I'm sure he's gonna get a pre I'm sure he's gonna get she's gonna get a prenup, but dude, she's a billion-dollar person. $8 billion. She just, like, walks around like, "Oh, you want a record contract? I'll give you $1,000,000 record contract, and you, and you, and you," and you're like, "Ah, I'll be over there singing too. Let me get $1,000,000."
Little known fact, JP can actually sing.
I can.
I've heard him.
A little also known fact, Brian won won the beard contest in the Colorado Association of Beard, whatever it was.
I am the first place recipient award winner of the partial beard because
Because
I
he doesn't have
shaved
a
my
mustache.
mustache.
Although you have a mustache right now.
I do. Yeah, I'm in between
What's going
shaves.
on with that?
Yeah, I got to get
I
rid of
like
it.
it. It looks natural.
Yeah, but I mean, let's talk about the why. I hate blowing my nose. I hate drinking drinks. I hate eating food because it gets right there.
It just looks natural. My problem is I got this part right now. It's too long. It's getting
And it
on my
goes,
hair.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean,
I ain't got none of that problem. I just, clean, looking good.
what are we talking about today?
All right, let's get back to it. We're talking about
Dude,
pricing.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
To bring us into the 21st century with payments and the new pricing structure.
well, you know what happened is a few years ago, they had the Durbin Amendment, right? The Durbin Amendment was like, oh, you can't charge on debit cards. But then you can look at all this stuff like these guys basically went to court and they're like, hey, the credit card world is charging us to take cards where we can take cash, but then get mad at us if we charge a fee to basically charge a credit card because a dollar is not the cost of a dollar anymore, right? Used to be you go into a store and you spend 50 cents on a soda and you give 2 quarters. Now people are trying to slap down their debit card and they cost the guy money. I mean, going back to our last week's conversation, right? Debit card. Most of the regulated debit card interchange is 0.05 and 22 cents a transaction. So you go into a convenience store and you try to buy something with $1 and you have a 27-cent built into that. 0.05, which is manageable on $1, but 22-cent hard transaction. So if it's $1, $2, that's your profit, man. So you got these grocery stores that their profit margin is where you're at, and you have regulated debit, it's killing them. So what do? Well, that's how surcharging came about, right? So surcharging is pretty easy. I don't like surcharging. I think it's too regulated. And it has just I just don't like the way it is. Surcharging is pretty easy. I list something for $10. I charge you a fee if you pay with a card. So the displayed price is $10. The price on my menu, the price on my gas boards or whatever is $10. If you pay with a card, I charge you a nominal fee to pay with a card, usually 3%. That's surcharging 101. I'm showing a cheap price. I'm charged a fee. I pay a higher price. Surcharging. The problem that's happened with surcharging is just like that. It's very regulated. You have half the states don't allow it. Other people try to get involved with it. So how do you get around it? How do you make it better? Well, you could do dual pricing, or you can do convenience, or you can do a cash discount. I like cash discount. I'm starting to like cash discount better, right? Because it's just the opposite. Instead of showing you $10 and charging you a 3% fee for paying a credit card, now I show you on my menu, my price is $10.30. My price is $10.30. When I quote it, it's $10.30. When you see it on my menu, it's $10.30. When you see it on, was one of my clients. You see that? $16.56. That's the new price that's quoted. Okay. The reason it's quoted like that is because the merchant already went in and built their credit card fees into it. At $10.30, they built the 3% to it. At $16.56, they built the 3.5% into it. They then give you a cash discount if you pay with cash. So instead of being charged a fee for paying with a credit card, I'm now giving you a discount if you pay with cash. I like that a lot better because that way the consumer sees I get this price, but if I pay with cash, I get it cheaper. So that is cash discounting. Dual pricing is a combination of those two. Dual pricing is I show you both prices ahead of the time. I show you the cash price and the card price. I show you every item is listed as $10 or $10.30, how you want to pay it. Now, with dual pricing, it's a little bit different. Here's a battle I'm fighting in the Virgin Islands. Oh, well, if you're doing dual pricing, then you're charging a fee to the credit card. Now, if I want to pay with a debit card, I should get it at the cash price. Well, no, you're not paying with cash. You're paying with a credit card, which is a debit card, and you're going to pay this price. Oh, well, then that's surcharging. No, it's not. I'm showing you two different prices. I have two different established prices. So having two different prices makes it a little bit different because you do have some people that know the regulation or think they understand the regulation, and they're like, well, I shouldn't have to pay this if I'm paying with a debit card, yada, 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 yada. It's so much easier just to do cash discounting. So much. And it's easy to price, easy to sell. Whatever your credit card fee is from your merchants, most of our merchants, we do 3.5%. The reason we do 3.5% is because we cover American Express. And we also place Clover a lot. Um, and what we do at 3.5% is they charge their client, they have 3.5% built into their price, but on the back end, we charge them like 3.25, 3.2. So they actually make a little bit on the back end so they can actually cover their Clover costs. So when we say we really try to eliminate your credit card fees in its entirety, we do. We try to make it where there's enough that's collected and left over that pays your Clover fees and all that little stuff too. So you have absolutely no cost to take credit cards. And that's kind of the thing, right? So I would much rather have a cash discount. I have an established price, and here's the price is. As a sales rep, it's easy for me because when I go to a location, I'll just have them raise their prices. Raise your price by you know what your credit card is. I find it even cooler because a lot of the clients are like, we've probably needed to raise our prices for a while. We just never have, right? So I have some clients that have raised them more than 3.5%. They raise them 5, 6% to make up for the margins they hadn't been doing before, which is fully in their own right as a shopkeeper, right? To raise your price whatever you want. The biggest deal is the established price. You have to have the established price, and then you can either give a discount or whatever the case may be. That's
And
cash
there's
discount.
there's a lot less signage, there's a lot less
Yeah.
regulations.
I mean,
None of
again,
none of that exists.
one of my clients with Polly's down here, we built into her cost. Even if you add onion, pepper, whatever down here, 52 cents to add an item. That's what it's supposed to be, right? So it's built exactly right. A quesadilla, 11.39. They have the credit card price built into their fee. And that they made that their new price. So anywhere it's listed, that's my price.
And even with, going back to surcharging, not only is it the most regulated, individual states have now stepped in and they've created even stronger rules. So now you have to understand who you're selling to. Not just there's not just a federal rule, now there's state rule.
Yeah, it's surcharging, and surcharging can be controlled. You got people and whatever the case may be, and so just don't do surcharge. Surcharge sucks anyway. I mean, then you got people that I'm going to charge you a fee with paying a credit card. Okay, I'd rather get a discount if I want, but not be charged a fee. So I understand it both ways.
So what would you say the biggest objection is to taking a merchant from traditional to some type of charging, some type of non-traditional pricing model?
In the business owner's mind, they think that they're going to get looked down upon by their consumers, by that type of a program. I've seen that a lot, especially in more of the medical, professional space. Doctors, dentists, places like that, versus the service industry. Industry. It's a lot more understood, but the white collar medical, it's that I would say that's the number one. How about you, JP?
Yeah, it's the same because now the clients are like, well, in your really highly competitive places like tobacco shops and grocery stores and stuff, you now have to quote that higher price because it has the credit card fee into it. And sometimes it quotes them out of the business, right? Hardware store. I'm calling around looking for cheap for lumber, or I'm calling around looking for plumbing parts or whatever the case may be. If I have the prices built into that, my prices are at least 3.5% higher than the competitor.
Right. And then
But
what you just said, and then the medical, the average ticket's a lot higher than a 10, 20, $30. You got the lumber, one, two, $3,000. You're looking at $100 fee, $120 fee.
I'm quoted higher, so then I might not get that person in the front door. But I mean, what's more important? I'm quoted higher. I'm gonna get the person in the front door, and when they get there, I slap them with a 3% fee for paying with credit cards. It's being upfront with them and telling what I got or not, right? And I mean, honestly, man, it's the other part of that is you have a lot thank you. You have a lot of people, businesses that are just doing it on their own. That's the other problem. You got a lot of businesses that have an interchange rate or are set up with a bank or whatever, and they're doing surcharging on their own without really doing it the right way. Like we actually notify Visa and MasterCard. We have it on our platform that you're listed as a reverse cash discount or a surcharging client. We build the terminals so that it actually does it the right way. That if you're on a surcharging method and you pay with a debit card, it won't charge a debit card. Or if you're doing cash discounting, it shows the functionality of that. When we were doing dual pricing, it would show both the price, all that stuff. You have a lot of clients that just take it on their own and do it themselves. The problem with that is that it's not regulated, right? They're not doing it the right way. The biggest problem with that is, and a lot of clients, it's especially true down here in the Virgin Islands, where I came along, I'd go to a restaurant or whatever, and they're charging 3% for using the card, but they didn't pass that on to their merchant provider. So their merchant provider is charging them on their regular credit cards and the 3% they're collecting. They're actually paying more and they don't realize it, right? Whereas we come in and we make the 3% the fee of your credit card service. So instead of paying $20,000 and then 3% on that $20,000 that you're collecting, you're paying both. We make that 3% you're collecting the fee for the $20,000. So you're not getting double dipped. Which, again, we set it up the right way. We register it the right way. We regulate our merchants. We down here don't allow for surcharging. I don't have anybody that does surcharging.
So
We
go ahead
don't
and explain what happens if the business is set up not the right way when they try to do it on their own, like the repercussions.
well, we should have some merchants on here. So if you're doing surcharging, you're not supposed to be doing surcharging, and then you're not being regulated, you're going to be fined from Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah.
And it's 5,000. Was it 5,000 or 1,000?
I think the first fine is 1,000, and then it goes up incrementally after that. It can go all the way up to 6 figures.
I've seen them up as high as 10,000. But you're doing a legal surcharge program. You're choosing to charge a fee on the credit card when it comes in. You're not doing it right. You're not regulated. You don't have it set up with your account that way. You do it wrong, they're going to fine you. It's not
Yeah.
so much the fine is the fact you lose the ability to take Visa and MasterCard up to 60 days sometimes, up to 30 days, up to 90 days.
You expressed that, I don't know if it started a year or 2 years ago, that Visa, MasterCard, like the secret shoppers. So people out there in the small little towns that they think that ain't nobody out there, they're getting caught.
We had a client like
They're
that.
getting caught. We did. Was it Pennsylvania or
Yeah,
Michigan?
yeah.
Yep. Yes, yeah, secret shoppers are cracking down, more penalties, more fees.
I think the article that I read was 60,000 secret agents, if you want to call them that were hired by the credit card companies to do exactly this, to go nationwide. Doesn't mean they're going to hit every store because there's millions of stores, but still, that's a lot. 60,000 people for you to take a chance at getting a 1, 5, 10, $50,000 fine.
It's crazy, man. And they don't it's just like EBT cards, man. You know what I'm saying? EBT, you have FNS and you take it in your store and then you take it from people and you think it's fine. But the one time that you decide, oh, I'm going to sell paper goods on this because I know I'm not supposed to, but it's there, you're going to it seems like the time you get secret shopped and then you lose the ability to take FNS cards. I mean, it doesn't make sense, you know? Now, the other problem is as you have sucky ISOs and you have sucky companies that don't understand surcharging and dual pricing and cash discounting. They don't regulate their merchants. They tell their merchants to do kind of whatever they want. Or you have ISOs that charge you an arm and a leg. Like I know ISOs right now, instead of doing a 3.5% making that your rates across the board, they'll say, hey, we'll charge your client 3.5%, but we'll only charge you 1.5%. And in reality, they're making 5% on the back end. Or we're going to put it on 3.5%, and then we're going to charge you $99 a month to be on that. You're only going to pay $100 or some crap like that. And it's like, I will tell you now, people that are watching this, the credit card company makes 2 to 3 times more money by you doing a dual pricing or a cash discounting account than they do on a normal interchange account. So if they're turning around and they're charging you a fee to be in the program, 50, 100, $200, demand better. I mean, they're raking you over the coals right now. They're getting you on both ends. The previous company that I worked for, that name that shall not be mentioned, they would charge people 4% and $100 a month, depending on what they did. Had a program, $0 to $5,000 a month in processing was like $50, 5,000 to 10,000 was 100, or 90 or something like 75. And over that was 100. They're making $100 guaranteed every month plus 4%. This is insane, man. This is insane. Charging people for equipment and all kinds of crazy stuff, man.
So have you earned the business of a merchant that has a receipt that is not set up correctly?
But yeah, all the time. Now,
Yeah,
I've had to be careful with how I do this.
yeah. The approach is sensitive. The
The
approach,
approach,
how you approach it, you got to
be
be very
like, hey,
careful.
man, this is illegal. Shuts them down right away. I kind of ease into the program, man, because like I've been excited when I met people and like, hey man, if you would like me for like come and show you how this is supposed to go and actually do it the right way. Oh, it's the right way. I'm allowed to do this. Blah, blah, blah. Just gotta be very careful with your words, man. Very careful with your words. What I find now is I can almost tell if they're set up by a legit ISO that actually knows what they're doing. And my approach now is like, hey, I see you're doing cash discounting program or surcharging. Did you know that you could actually set this up to where instead of you collecting 3% to help with your fees, that the 3% could be all of your fees and you wouldn't have to pay anything on top of that? And then they kind of look at you kind of dumb. It's like, I can actually show you how to do that. We could actually do it where we register you the right way and make it legit and just change away a couple things and have it set up. Cause I guarantee, and what I'll do is they'll show me their statement. I'm like, you're collecting 3%, right? And they're like, yeah. And then I'll show their statement where they're paying like 5%. I'm like, you're really just hurting yourself, right? Because you're paying this extra 3, but let me show it. And that's normally how I do it. I used to just go, dude, not doing this right. Or you're doing this legal. Shut down the door. Shut it down.
Yeah, I've
And I've
definitely
watched
got
them.
some merchants by approaching it, but that's you got to be careful. You
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
be careful with that conversation.
And that
It's a
brings
good one
that's
to
a good
have. It's a good one to have.
that's a
But
good conversation to bring in some of our other competitors. This transition is brought to you by ASMR.
I would like to make a statement. I have never seen you drink an energy drink
You have
ever.
not in the years that I've known you, because I have not. I gave up energy drinks back in. My wife always has to correct me because I've had multiple things. I died in 2016, and then in 2020 something, 2022, I had a heart attack. And it was what they called a chemically induced heart attack. I was
Not from
drinking,
drugs, people.
not from drugs, not from drugs. It was well, pretty much was. It was from energy drinks. I was drinking 5 energy drinks a day, um, and I was out there still acting like I was 20 years old, doing work I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, fell
Bro,
down right in front of my son.
I walked down in front of your son, really? Like you like
Yeah.
clutched your chest?
No, so I clutched my chest in front of a customer, and then I drove from the customer's house to pick up my son, and in my son and my ex-wife's driveway, I had to get out of my truck. Looked at my son, I go, "I don't feel good," and I had to jump out of the truck, and I threw up all over my ex-wife's driveway. Oh, I mean, and we're talking so a heart attack throw up is different throw up. I've never seen this because it's what it's doing is, and I was very dehydrated as well, obviously, because this is what I was drinking. And so there was just all this like phlegm bile type thing, but it wasn't like liquid. It was foamy and weird, man. But it was a lot.
I'm
And
so
so
bad
she
you went
came
down.
out and she's like, this isn't okay. You're not okay." And I was like, "I think I'm fine. I just need to go home." I said, "I'll clean it up." She goes, "No, no, no. I'll clean." So my ex-wife cleans up my throw up off of her driveway. I leave. Oh, that was tough. That was tough. But then that's what my son saw. he got to see that part of it, and he's like, "Dad, you're not okay. You need to go to the hospital."
Did you go to the hospital that day?
I did. I got home. I had throw up all in my beard, which sucks. If you've ever had a beard with throw up, it's not fun. So I jumped in the shower, and I'm telling my wife like everything that I experienced, all the stuff I felt, and she goes, "You need to go to the hospital." I'm calling the ambulance. I said, "Don't call the ambulance. I think I'm okay." She goes, "No, you're not okay. You had a heart attack. I'm looking it up right now." And I was just like, so there is a test they do in the ERs.
Yeah,
It's
EKG test that yeah.
yeah, there's a blood test where
Yeah,
they
it's
test
like the
for
white blood cell count or something.
yeah, they test for
Yeah.
this thing called like trepidin or I can't remember what it is, but it's a protein that's released from the heart that gets put into the bloodstream whenever the heart has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And so that's what it
Heart
happened.
has a heart attack. You heard it here, people.
Yeah, you heard it here. I like this. I like this. That was good. That was good ASMR.
The good
I'm
one,
about to get
right?
my yeah. But walk me through if I go through a big box company for processing for my small business, walk me through what kind of pricing am I doing? Like Square.
Say it again. I was
So
reading.
I opened up a new restaurant. I got myself a Square that I can just order, and then I put that in my business. What kind of pricing do I get with that?
2.89 swiped. I mean, it's on Square's website.
It's traditional.
Yeah, you can't do a surcharge or do a pricing on that. They don't allow it.
No.
It's not
So
done
no
right.
matter what, when I buy a big box brand, I'm pretty much only going to have traditional. Am I correct?
Yeah, some people kind of self. There's a place here in town. It's a restaurant. She charges a fee and figures it out on the calculator, and then types the full amount into the credit card machine. So there's no indication that she's doing a surcharging or a cash discounting or whatever. You're supposed to have something listed there. It's not. So she'll quote you one price and then charge another, and it's actually the higher price, which is a whole other problem. She's doing an illegal surcharge right now because she charges higher for it than it's supposed to be. She hadn't listed anywhere on your receipt. So, you know what I'm saying? It's you got a lot of people that's doing it the way they you got a lot of people at the end of the day, they're like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Just in case any of our viewers now didn't get on our podcast or see it yet, from last week when we talked about traditional, you also mentioned the point of Square, how you get the fast approval. 6 months later is when it's really going through the risk department, and people are at risk for being shut down. Money's being held. So if you did not check out that podcast, get on it. We talked for a long time about traditional and some of the negatives with that. So since you brought up Square, just want to make sure I threw that out there. It's one more thing.
Square sucks, man. I don't, again, Square sells against the fear. All the bad stuff you hear about credit card services. I got stuck into a lease. I got signed in a high contract. I got signed in the contract anyway. I have to pay this, and that. Square did really well because they don't do they don't allow you supposedly to pass the fee, but if Square was a company and wanted to do that, it would be great because they're like, hey, our fees are 2.9%. If you want to cover your fees, charge 2.9%. If you type it in, it's 3.3%. So your customer, and ideally, depending on what they could do, could charge 3.5. Know they're going to cover all their fees with Square. They have nothing else. Square has a great POS that they give. They give away the software for nothing. And it's pretty solid software, to be quite honest with you. Right. So you get a customer that, I was talking to Window earlier today. We get a customer that's doing a couple $1,000s a month, but has 1,000 pieces of inventory they need to do, but it's trying to keep costs down. Square is actually a really good fit for them. I mean, it doesn't help us out any. The guy does $3,000 a month. Anything with us, look at Clover. Clover's a great POS. Clover's expensive though, especially if you're a small merchant. I'm a merchant doing $3,000 a month. I need a Clover system and I need to do inventory. At minimum, that's $30 for the essential plan. Then what it costs to buy the equipment, right? Which is going to be about the same as Square is, but I got a $30 a month recurring bill on that, right? And then, my fees that are built into it. So if they're not with a good processor, They might be paying 3, 4, 5%. Who knows? It's just a lot that's basically baked into that. That's hard to overcome.
The thing about the Square thing, the ease of use, and users, consumers want ease of use, right? So that's really who they're marketing to, is somebody who can just be out the box, ready to go, selling whatever product they want to sell right then and there. They're not making any money, or they're actually spending more money because of the way that the pricing model's set up. That's what changes between going with Square and then going with an independent sales agent like yourself.
Like JP said, Square can be a good solution for certain businesses, but I've actually acquired a lot of Square customers and brought them on board as merchants for a couple reasons. One is having business owners, they don't know what they don't know. So they're sold Square, but they're not explained the details about how things really work. So if you're a business owner and if you do small volume, it could be a very good solution. But as your business grows, then JadaPay or different programs, hardware and stuff is going to be better for you. So if you respect that merchant out the gate and just let them know, hey, right now you're in a good spot as your business, grows, as you increase your sales, keep me in mind. And as the agent, to check in on a regular basis with them, I've gotten a lot of accounts that way where at the time Square was a good fit. But a lot of times I found customers that have Square and they, like I said, they don't know what they don't know. And you just share truth and knowledge. And it's a very easy, it's an easy sell. It's an easy sell. It's not putting down what they're doing. It's just sharing knowledge that they weren't, communicated with.
The
So,
biggest problem you got with Square and these other companies is there's no customer service. So you're trade one for the other, right? With us, and I'm gonna talk about JadaPay for a while. We're bad at customer service. Is what we do. We answer the phone, we answer your call. A lot of times you're telling us the problem and we're trying to figure out the problem on the back end. And we jump through all the hoops so you don't have to. That's the great point of having a sales agent or a one of our partners with JadaPay, is that we bust our butt for you. We make sure we take care of you. We're constantly doing rate reviews to make sure your rate's on point. We make sure that you have all your equipment properly operating the way. We visit your businesses. I mean, that's just what you get with us, and you don't get that with anything else. So if you are a business that you're like, I don't need any customer service, I don't need help, I don't need anything, do anything, then it's hard to beat something like Square or Stripe because they just offer a flat rate without a monthly fee. Um, but a lot of our customers don't want that or don't need that. They need something more. They need someone to hold their hand and walk them and have, a good relationship and can take care of them. And that's the point of us.
yeah, and I don't know if you guys, I think you saw the video that I sent out a couple weeks ago where I got to present to those business owners, within my group, and it was really cool because some people think, oh, you call customer service and you get one person on it. That was a great example how one of our merchants had a glitch, and it wasn't just one person on it. There was me, there was my assistant, it was our JadaPay tech, our JadaPay manager, it was Deja Vu and EPI. So you got 6 people on one situation, and one person may have had one, answer coming sooner than later. Just you put a team together, we get stuff done. We get it done fast. We get it done really quick. But 6 people were on that just from one call because of how we're connected and the way that we work. It's huge.
It is big, and that's that. I'll go back to that customer service point of the conversation. One thing that we did prior to was we didn't even have 24/7 customer service. We now have 24/7 customer service. Something goes down, you have the ability to talk to a human that actually is in the United States of America for all of our US based customers. And you could talk to that human regardless of what time of day, what time of evening, what time of morning it is. They're going to be available. They're going to answer the phone call. And the cool thing about that is, whenever you're stuck and you can't process, or you have a glitch and you're not taking money in, you can't wait till the next day. You need that money. I mean, these small business, I was there. You have to get that. You need that money. Every cell matters. Every cell matters. So having the ability to stay up and stay going, it's so important to business success and survival. I think the staggering stat was like something like 72% of all businesses shut their doors. And we might need to fact check that, but there's like a huge stat of how businesses, brand new businesses that start, they have the drive, the motivation, the purpose, if only they can correct certain things in business, this being one of them. How do I make sure that I'm maximizing my profits? Well, you can do that with a company like JadaPay.
Yeah,
Processing, you don't think about that. You don't think about how those dollars add up. When I started in the garage door industry, we talk about this a little bit, but I was paying sometimes $5,000 a month in fees a month, at the height of my garage door company, and I was like, "This is insane. How like, this doesn't make sense to me," and all I had was an authorized.net through the CRM that I had, but I didn't have a company like JadaPay that can come in and say, "Look, you can keep your CRM, but we're gonna help you with your pricing model so that way you can maximize those profits." $5,000 a month, that's marketing, that's another customer service. Yeah, that's going to the playoffs, to watch the Florida Panthers. There's so much you can do with that type of money.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned how people get shut down, how they need a solution as far as like if their equipment goes down. A lot of the training that we do with our agents is it's second to none. Setting the business owner up for understanding situations. For example, our deja vu, P series, a lot of customers that I acquire, their big thing is, well, what happens if service goes down? Well, if you set them up with a SIM card, you've got additional monthly fees. But if you set them up with their Wi-Fi, if their Wi-Fi goes out, a lot of business owners think they're dead in the water and that's it. But if you communicate to the business owner, you know what? You got a smartphone, flip the hotspot on your phone, go in your terminal, connect to that. That way, if your building network goes down, you're still covered, you're still processing. And a lot of that is just that business owner doesn't know that that's possible. They don't understand. They weren't set up that way with their agent. It wasn't explained. So just communicating what we're able to do and our agent's knowledge on how to set people up, what to do if this happens, has been just very a big part of our success as well. Is just educating the merchant on different scenarios before they happen. And what I'll do is when I go in and talk to a business owner, I'm like, tell me, if this was a perfect world, what would you like? What are you happy with? What are you not happy with? It just, basic, communication back and forth. And you find those pain points where there's pain, there's opportunity. And then you just share, well, with JadaPay, this is what we can do. This is another step. This is another step. And just having that comfort and having our agents be knowledgeable just to share is huge.
Is there a model that I'm coming to JadaPay as a new business, and, I know JP talked about in the beginning, cash discounting is kinda what he enjoys, and I agree with JP actually. I'm the compliance guy, so I'm the guy that's always looking at how can this mess us up or how can this mess up our customers? Whereas cash discounting really doesn't have a lot that's gonna mess anybody up. And so is there a reason why I would not use any type of cash discounting? Why I would go traditional? Is there like walk me through why I would use that
There a
model.
reason why you wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes back to, again, like Mitch said, it's just customer preference, you know?
So I hear that phrase, "I don't wanna pass the fees. I don't wanna pass the fees." I hear that that's usually the objection I hear, when I talk to a lot.
That's pretty much the only addiction I hear is I don't wanna pass the fees, which is crazy because, I can understand it a little bit from depends on the kind of business. A grocery guy. "Oh, I don't want my customers to pay that." Yes, like, you care so much about your customers, but your customers don't really care that much about you, man. I mean, yeah, it used to be cash. I come in here, I pay everything with cash. Now I'm coming in here and using a reward card like I showed you guys on the last week's call. That's 3%. Your customers are trying to figure out how all they can get it. Now you're just being very um transparent about it that you're actually collecting back on. Okay, you want to use your reward card, no problem. I mean, I'm going to have this built into my cost. Pay with cash you want, save a little money. I, you know, I went back and forth with a lot of merchants, and they prefer the cash discount method just because they're very transparent. Like, hey, we upped our prices. We had to cover credit card fees. Credit card fees are usually the second or third highest behind manpower that you pay every month. How do you recoup that? And it's not like I've got to have, you've got to have manpower, you've got to have supplies for your business, yada, yada, yada. You're basically paying money to take money. That's the reality of it. You're paying money to take money. And if they would change that mindset and pay with cash, that doesn't cost me anything. Depending on where you are, some places pay 5% grocery receipts, all that stuff. But anyway, it's still the same thing. So it's like I'm paying money to collect money. And like you said, there's business out there like that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for credit card fees. That's insane, man. Like we first got in this thing, started talking to people. We're like, when's the last time you had a vacation? When's the last time, you needed something for the business, you couldn't buy it? I can eliminate $60,000 a month in credit card or a year in credit card fees. What's that do for you? That might put another person or two in place. That might actually let you have a salary. That might, give you time to go take some time for yourself and with your family. I mean, it's a lot of money. Credit card fees are expensive, man. You know, 3% adds up. 2% adds up, and plus all the other stuff they pound you with. So it's like, how do you recover that cost? But how do you do it the right way? Right? You take matters in your own hand and just start charging it, but then not being set up right on the back end, so you're getting doubled. Or do you get with a company like ours, that can actually, you know, JadaPay in the States and Salty Locks down here, they can actually set you up the right way and get it to where the credit card fees that we collect and embed inside your stuff actually pay your fees. And that's more and more people are going to that because they realize it's just so expensive to take credit cards.
Yeah. And a
It's
lot of
really
that's training your merchant as well. Don't get the negative out of, there's a fee. Let them know that, hey, focus on the positive. You get a cash discount. So if you change the mindset of that business owner, that's part of it. And then a lot of times, JP, a lot of people will give me a merchant statement that are sworn. They don't want dual pricing. They just want, traditional. So whenever I do a cost analysis, I'll present it both ways. I want to do my job. I want to put it out there. And a lot of people, they once they see the numbers like black and white
yeah,
right
they
there, they're
don't.
like, you know what?
A lot of your owners aren't necessarily in tune with what they're actually paying. They don't know. They say 3%, but they don't know what that actually equates to until you're like, dude, you paid $2,700 in credit card fees. And then you add that up, right? You're like $2,700 or 3,000 times a month. You paid $36,000 last year in credit. And it just go, you can almost see it go off in their head like, oh my God. I'm like, that's a hard number. This is what you're paying right now. But you don't see it because it comes out a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And so that's the reality of it. Is business owners say they don't want to do it to their clients, but in reality, they're already doing it to their clients. Right.
They are. How much do you buy that candy bar for? 70 cents. How much are you selling the candy bar for? $1. There's still a cost to doing business. Nothing says you can't add all of your costs. You had to hire somebody for inventory. You had to build a warehouse. All these things go into the cost
Insurance,
of business.
gas,
Exactly.
manpower, taxes, taxes alone.
Yeah.
We're
You
saving
need
you
to
enough to pay your
incorporate
tax
this.
bill. Yeah, 100%, man. So it's like, how do you recoup that cost, right? And like, again, just going back to it, cash is not king anymore. Nobody pays with cash. Like the kids these days are. When we were younger, we were taught how to fill out a check, how to do a checkbook. They don't have that anymore. They don't even give you checks when you go to the bank and you sign up a new account. They give you a debit card. That is how they do their business now. And debit cards now have points assigned to them. So they're not just debit cards, they're debit reward cards, and you're paying more fees on that. So it's just like a consistent beating it over, beating it over, beating it over.
It is. Yeah, and I mean, for businesses that are trying to maximize profits, go back to it and just think about everything that you're spending money on. There's nothing wrong with, and if you wanna just not use the phrase "pass the fee," but there's nothing wrong with you making a profit. That's
Right.
the whole reason why you're in business is because
You
you
mark
want
up the
to.
item, just mark it up a little bit more to cover your costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the problem is a lot of the business owners don't consider credit card fees a cost. They think about what they have to mark it up to cost, but they don't think about that cost, right? That's at least an additional 3% on your fees. You need when you're marking up your items, mark it up so you cover that cost, right?
And we don't
Easy.
make any money off of you having a cash discounting program when somebody pays with cash.
No, we don't make anything off cash, but we encourage you to do these programs so that you can actually save your money. Education first, man.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. On Mondays. I
On
I
Monday.
figured out how to change my name down here. I'm the master of shenanigans.
There you go.
You gotta do your name too, Brian.
I am. I am. I mean, we kinda covered a lot of the questions that I had regarding this. I wanna really just kinda fine tune some more of the compliance and risk pieces of the puzzle. I wanna make sure that our customers understand what that actually means. And we're not dogging or bagging on any of these other companies, but if you're a vape shop and you sell Kratom or you sell some of these other items,
Well,
ultimately
that's not necessarily interchange or that's
no,
just something illegal.
well, it depends on where you're at. So, like, Square is not gonna allow you to sell what kind of product? Guns?
They're not gonna allow you weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
Anything
So
to hurt somebody. Or it's a problem with the CBD world. CBD and hemp, right? Kratom actually wouldn't be a bad problem, or Delta 8 is just unregulated.
yes.
That's the biggest deal, is nobody just sells CBD. They
No.
sell CBD and hemp. They sell CBD and THC. They sell CBD and XYZ. And so it's unregulated, right? It's just like you say you're selling this, but are you really selling that? And then, and then we should use this for our next call. Talk more about, we're going to lead into the CBD stuff next week.
Do it.
Yeah.
That tends to be a question, but again, with these quick approval companies, if you're selling a product that's actually goes against their bottom line, which, like, I'm married to an attorney, she actually reads the fine print of stuff. I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I know that the majority of us do not read the fine print. We just say, "Yes, yes, 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 yes. Give me it." My wife reads everything, and she does it because she likes
She
me.
probably read your marriage vows and was like, I don't know about us.
I didn't have ChatGPT back then, so I had to write things myself. That came from the heart.
Write your own vows? Or did you write your own vows, or did you just read what the preacher told you to do?
You know what? I couldn't even. It really didn't matter because I was crying the whole time. I was there like a blubbering idiot. There's a microphone and nobody could even hear me. Yeah. I
Why were you
nobody
crying?
knew nothing. And then Sherry, my wife's like, "I Sherry," and Everett. Yeah, night and day,
Why were you crying?
dude. It's happiest day of my life. Come on now. Yeah, so it to this day, the whole family still makes fun of how we couldn't understand Mitch. Yeah, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I will watch the Brady Bunch episode where the kids get lost in the Grand Canyon and cry. I cry over every little thing. I do. So you can imagine me at my wedding. I was a wreck.
Mitch is also a world jujitsu champion, and he's on the Guinness World Records for crying.
Mitch will kick your ass on the mat, literally choke you out. But instead of being he'll sit there with you until you wake back up, and he'll be like, "You okay, buddy?
I
You all
do.
right?
I
Hold your
will
head, make
hold
sure you
you.
don't
I'll let you
fall
know that
down."
I got you. You're okay. Finish this tournament strong.
Like that Roadhouse movie they came out. He's like, "Is there a hospital local? I mean, is there a hospital local? I just want
Yeah.
to find out." You know what I'm saying? He's like, he's genuinely trying to find out. And then he
Right.
drives into the hospital.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get emotional at times.
That's good though. That's good though. That means you got purpose and passion.
Yeah. So, but I do like where this is going to lead into for next week because I think that's a lot of uncertainty within that area.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
All right, boys. See you later.
All right.
Peace.